Yeah. So, all right. We are live, coming here with a brand new Stir the Pod podcast show. I'm your host, Trevor, and tonight we are joined by just Alex. Alex, how you doing tonight?
Yo, yo, yo.
And that is it. Just me and Alex tonight for the episode 5 Spies, Lies, and Allies recap show. And Alex, I feel like honestly, tonight, another good episode, I thought. It was one of those where I would probably give it like a B, but yes, Austin, I would agree with that statement about, Adam, you mean Andy got ran over by Fezzi? Classic mix-up. I just feel like it was another 80, B minus, B level episode, but it was good. Like, I enjoyed it. I thought everything was solid and everything like that. So, what do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I think in a segment later on, we're going to get to kind of like the macro view of where we're at with the challenge, but how that kind of plays into what I thought tonight was like. I feel like tonight was a good episode. I think the problem was, and I don't want to sound too down on it because I did like it. I think it was a good episode, but it was just like a classic episode 5. Like, I feel like we are now starting to hit that dreaded middle of the season. And like on its own, I think tonight was a good episode, but the problem is it's very similar to the past 4 episodes that we've seen. Like, the theme is the same. It's like itself tonight, I think was a good episode. I liked watching it, but just as a whole, I don't think this really moves the needle a whole lot.
Yeah, like I said, I just thought tonight it was like an average episode, but it was a good filler one. And before we get started even more, it looks like back from the Redemption House, I think, his Magic Jack connection was kind of all over the place. But we do have Andy joining us. I am adding him in right now, and there he is. Andy, how's it going? A little late, a little tardy, but congrats.
Yeah, I had to, my computer was acting up. What can you do? Technology.
But, so Andy, tonight's episode, what was your initial thoughts?
Well, first off, I want to give a shout out to Mikey the doctor, because I would never get sent home with the pig roast herself. But my initial thoughts for this episode, I mean, I thought it was just a very average episode. Like, it was, I didn't like it. I didn't hate it. Like, this was, of all the episodes so far this season, definitely my least favorite. But
absolutely,
it's not more so because I didn't like this one. It was more so because I really liked the first 4. So I wasn't too entertained.
Yeah, chat. What did you guys think? I see some people writing it was a C episode. It dragged a little bit. What did you guys think? Because, I think, Andy, you made a good point there. I think, the first 4 episodes were pretty strong episodes. And now this was kind of like the first of the first one that kind of hits us. And it's kind of like not much happened, I would say. Obviously, we had a vet finally go home. And, we only saw 1 elimination, and it was a rookie. We're just like dying to see, the vet versus vet, or a double, I keep saying a double elimination, but just like a standard male elimination and a female elimination that are 2 vets going against each other. It looks like Adam Nidos said it was a 5.5. I would probably give him about a 5% chance that he actually watched the episode. Mikey the doctor, it was a good episode 5 though, since we are heading into that filler part of the season. Yeah, and I think that's what it was. And not much happened, but I think we made the most out of it. And Alex, what were you about to say?
I was just gonna say, I think this episode tonight, like we said, it was average as a whole. I think it, compared to the other episodes, felt long. Like, this felt like 90 minutes, whereas like we've talked about some of the other ones, it's like you don't want it to end because there's just so much happening, and it feels a lot quicker than an hour and a half. Whereas tonight, like, they could have probably cut out, a good 30 minutes of like the conversations and confessionals and all that. And obviously they're not going to. That was just one of the things that when there's not a lot in the episode, it makes the 90 minutes really feel dragged out.
I checked my phone 1 time, and it was when they went to a commercial break mid-elimination, and my only thought process was, please, for the love of God, tell me this is not going to end on a to be continued, because that would have just pissed me off based on how this episode went. That was the only time that I checked my phone.
Well, Andy, there's if they would have done that, that would have been the biggest. This tonight would have been the biggest ... episode of all time. If we would have had that classic TJ ... before saying, I didn't tell you anything about a women's, or a girls' elimination. I didn't say anything. We could still have that. That followed by literally the next commercial would have been, a little TB, to be continued. I mean, that would have been ridiculous.
No. I was saying mid elimination. Like,
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Do.
The next commercial or whatever would have been the end credits. Yeah.
I had this like vision, nightmare, whatever you want to call it, where we started off next week by watching the rest of the Gabo Logan elimination. I was just like, please, no.
Well, then we get stuck in that train where, I forget what season, maybe it was 2 seasons ago, where we got in that train of where the elimination would happen at the beginning of the episode and we would never get the elimination at the end. So we would just be in that continuous cycle, and it was horrible. I hated that. So yeah, anything else, or do we just want to dive into it?
Let's get into the episode.
Before I want to get into tonight's episode, obviously you guys know we are a big betting podcast as well. Andy, we obviously got a big Team USA game tonight. Line just dropped. We got to go Team USA money line, -143.
I mean, against Honduras, let's see. The lineup's out right now. Oh, guess what? Captain America's starting it. Hammer it.
So that is the official STP bet of tonight. Money line USA -143 with that. So let's dive right into the episode. So the episode begins. I mean, what other way can an episode begin without them taking Alex's idea of just the classic the champion of the elimination walking in? I mean, Alex, at what point do they start crediting you for that? Like put a little, like a works cited page or something like that.
I would hope. I'm not holding out hope for being anytime too soon. I would hope maybe though it wouldn't be episode 1 because there wouldn't be an elimination winner next season. I would say I think we're on 37 now. So I would say season 38, episode 2. Give the producers enough time to get caught up on all the stir the pod madness that we got, and just listen to the fact that we've been on this for 2 seasons now and put it in there the next time the streak starts up.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's so we brought this up last week. I just think it's so smirk. They're probably literally like, CT's about to walk through or whatever. They're like, no. Gotta let these guys come through. I just cannot picture that.
Because the streak has happened, 20 episodes in a row or whatever, but it, like you said, it could not have happened that many times in a row naturally. Like they're controlling it. They're pulling the strings.
Absolutely. So the next thing we kind of got was, the 2 biggest things was the whole down goes the Big Brother alliance and the whole Tori and Emmanuel. So Alex, what did you think about the whole Tori and Emmanuel thing?
They only hinted at it a very small amount, which I kind of liked because I'm hoping that it turns into something next episode. I just think I wanted to kind of run it by you guys, just do a quick 1-by-1 of all the guys that Tori's been connected to. I think it started in like either clearly romantically or sexually or like just kind of vaguely. Like I think it started with Heisman. Derrick Henry.
Well, even before that, technically, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it Devin, like a little with second chances? Are you on second chances? They were partners because I think they hooked up. I could be wrong on that during Are You the One? But then obviously it was Heisman with the whole challenge. And surely there wasn't a guy that came in and, maybe with, one hand or, anything like that came into the picture. So you had him. You had who else did we have?
Well, then that
who was the guy? The whole Fezzi situation last year.
Fezzi,
and then the guy this season, her first part, Kels, right?
Yeah, and she's kind of been flirting with on this season also now Emmanuel and Ed from the Circle.
Ed's not from the Circle, is he?
It's Ed. It's not Ed. It's Ed from the Circle.
Exactly. So we had that, and then with that whole relationship, then we had the whole Big Brother relationship. So now we're kind of broken up into 2 teams of Big Brother. You got Casey and Fezzi versus Josh and Amber B. What do we think about that alliance? Like, you think this is going to stir some things up, or is it really going to do anything yet?
I mean, it's so stupid. They have absolutely no numbers because there's now 2 Big Brother alliances. So I think the only thing that's going to end up happening, and I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later, is I think they're going to partner up with each other. And granted, that might not last for a while, but I think the only thing, the next like domino to fall, is going to be for Amber and Josh to actually become partners, and Fezzi and Casey. Like, that's the only thing that I can see, because they have, like, it's literally 2v2, which is so stupid. So I think it's going to be 2v2. And then I think if Josh was smart, that's a big ol' if, then he would try to get him and Amber tight with the rest of the vets.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see that. Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and it's like it's a weird. For one, I'm hoping that all of this drama is good drama and it's like entertaining for the next 4 episodes or whatever. But that's just from a fan perspective. But like, I think it's weird because Fezzi and Casey, of those 4, Big Brother people, are like probably. I know Amber has a ring, so you could kind of debate that, but like just as a pair, I would say Fezzi and Casey is stronger, like at performing challenges, eliminations, physical things, all of that. But Josh and Amber seem to be much tighter in with the vets. Like, it feels like Fezzi and basically dragging Casey with him are on an island at this point. And so, when it all comes to a head in a couple episodes, maybe it's an elimination, maybe it's just voting and whatnot. But I feel like Josh is obviously the worst person of this group, but he's probably closest to like most of these people than anybody. So I think it'll just be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah. I like Duffy's comment of, we have seen the Fezzi and Casey pair, and surely that worked out pretty well. So I thought that was
he only went on a 5-minute bitch fit to explain it.
Why did he say something to you or something?
Yeah, he got mad. I had him low. All
right. We get it. So then we go to the actual challenge, and this challenge to me, like, it was kind of like one of those mini obstacle courses, or what would we even label this as, Alex? Just like a good old mini. I don't want to call it a mini final, but like you're doing something, your partner's doing something, and what do we think?
To me, it kind of felt very challenge year 2010 to 2014 Like, okay. I feel like once a season in that time period, we would get something like this, particularly with somebody crawling through mud. And like you said, it was basically, the team partners were like split up doing the exact same little obstacle course thing. I actually thought, in a weird way, this was actually the best part of the episode. And the reason why is because it wasn't anything too crazy. It was easy to follow. I liked the challenge. I think one of the factors that kind of played into it was it made me appreciate challenges where TJ is not announcing the winner. I don't like when TJ says, these are the top 2 times, separated by only 1 second, closest ever. And then they cut to a commercial. Like, I liked where it was like everybody go at once. Whoever fucking finishes the thing first is the winner. There's no cute things. There's no heats to it. There's no times, anything like that. So I like that about it. And then like the rest of the episode, like, I feel like it was just very predictable. So like this challenge, I got the most enjoyment of tonight.
Yeah. I mean, it was just one of those, like, I would say like fun challenges. And, what you brought up is, I would rather see everybody go at once and you get to see actually a winner, because like you talk about, we were separated by 1 point. Yeah. Okay. There's no really cheating involved, and you kind of just label it out. So I guess the big takeaway from this was last week my LVP was, I felt heartbroken for Andy, and I might have to give it again this week because his girl, Anissa, getting hurt.
See ya.
Anissa getting hurt, and it looks like, she's done for. And later we find out, obviously, bye-bye. So, Andy, I am so sorry about your loss with Anissa. Tough one. But the bright side is she'll be back next year. So,
well, she'll be back for the next 10 years. She's got nothing else going on. One thing I do think was hilarious about Anissa today, when the medics came over to get her and bring her to the truck, oh, just give me a painkiller, pop it in, I'll be right back. No more, and I mean genuinely no more than 5 seconds later, she's crying. It hurts, it hurts. Like, she just wanted to act like she was this big badass and couldn't even put on that charade for more than 10 seconds.
God.
I've
what was the injury?
Well,
do we know what the actual injury was?
Her shoulder came out.
So she dislocated her shoulder?
So here's the thing. That's what she says. That's what she claims. They showed a slow-mo replay of the fall after commercial break. She didn't fall on her shoulder at all. And I don't know if it's just like seismic force or what, but I don't know what the fuck caused her shoulder to pop out, because she did not fall on her shoulder.
Well, that's the thing. And obviously that's a serious injury. But if you have a dislocated shoulder, all you got to do is pop it back into place.
And that's what she said. And then she said, "Oh, it hurts."
There's a lot of meat around the bone.
What'd you think? Your shoulder's out of place. You think it'd feel good?
I've got an unrelated question for you guys that happened during the start of the challenge.
Blow me.
Go ahead.
So we talk about they're explaining the challenge. Everyone's gonna get dirty, and Devin says, "Oh yeah, I love wrestling around the mud." And TJ pops off just an amazing one-liner of like, "Yeah, of course you do. You're a pig." Crowd goes wild. I thought it was hilarious. What are the chances that was actually just off the dome? 2%? 5%? I love TJ. TJ's the man, but come on.
I would say probably the same chances of either Adam Mito showing up on this pod or actually coming to a BC drink out. So I'd probably say less than 2%. 0. So that's where I would label it as. So also from this challenge, what about the math, Alex? I know.
Yeah, that was another big takeaway from the challenge. Aside from me liking it, and aside from the winners, the main thing I took from this competition was the math skills of these people. It made the American challengers, who we always talk shit about for being the dumbest people on earth, Corey, Nicole, all these others, Nelson, it made those people look like Albert Einstein. I mean, you had Gabo literally doesn't know how to do math. I don't think Gabo and whoever Amy, I don't think they finished tonight, because Gabo literally got to numbers and said, here's 100 times 78 minus blah 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 whatever, and he was just there's nothing to do. He gave up, because it was like reading a second language for him.
It brought me back to 9 times 3 vibes, which is just awesome.
What was 9 times 3 from?
God, watch it. I just think moments like that, and it doesn't have to be every episode, but every so often you just throw them in with a good math problem, and it's just so funny how dumb these people are. And that's why I think realistically we love watching, in jumping ahead, I think that's why we love trivia so much. And that's why this season of trivia, if they actually do one, could literally be bananas. It could just be all over the place. They would probably ask, they would show the American flag to the international people and be like, what flag is this? And then vice versa. What country is Nani from would be a question, and they would have no idea.
Well, one thing I think production really missed out on is when TJ was outlining the rules for the challenge, and he finishes it with the last piece of this is a math puzzle. The fact that we did not have just a close-up on Corey's face or Nelson's face, they had to have just been that would have just been so perfect to see. And we all envisioned it, but God, to see that would have been incredible.
Yeah. I do want to bring up Finn Duffy's comment right here. Why does it seem like, and it's not even like the hardest math problems or anything. Why does CT win this every single time? Like, he does, and it's not like complicated or anything. What were you going to say, Andy? I saw you getting ready.
I mean, the initial instinct is he's just the GOAT. Like, aside from the math, like, he had that puzzle done in 2 seconds. Like, he knows the challenge because he's been doing it for literally the majority of his life. The majority of life, he's been on the challenge more so than he hasn't been. But so I don't want to discredit CT because I do think he's smart, but I think Duffy brings up a great point. Like, if you it's almost like Billy Madison, but someone who actually has an IQ, not Adam Sandler's character. So, like, if you put someone who's 30 years old in a class with a bunch of second graders, they're going to look like the smartest person in the class. They're going to look like a genius, as they should. So, I think I see both sides.
So what would that be your comparison, CT to second graders, or is second graders giving some of these people more credit than they should get?
I think it's probably giving them more credit, but I think it was also CT who said that this was an 8th grade level math question.
Oh, did he?
How in the world is this an 8th grade math question? This was division. Like, this is like at the latest 6th grade.
I mean, if you had to put money on someone finishing that math problem, Gabo or Abby, who would get it done first?
Abby, 100%.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
100%.
Gotcha.
Well, and that's part of what made kind of CT and Berna winning this challenge even more surprising was the fact that they kind of played up, and I don't know how much of it was editing, but they played up how dumb Berna was. Like, they played up how she didn't know math. She had never taken math and all of that. And so when they showed that, I assumed that she was kind of in the Gabo boat of like just simply not being able to finish. And then they like showed them like catching up and like having an answer and all of that. And so I just thought it was weird how like they edited the episode with like, showing how dumb all these people are. They showed Gabo, they showed Berna, but then somehow Berna is able to like thankfully figure it out and it gets them the first place.
Absolutely. So with that being said, CT, Berna pick up the dub. Then we go back to the house, and then we finally get Andy's sad sorrows. Down goes Anissa. Any lasting remark you have, Andy, on Anissa? Let's hear it right now.
I mean, she didn't get embarrassed. So, like, in reality, this is probably one of the best seasons she's had in the past couple of years. I mean, that's kind of all you have to say. Like, this is one of her best seasons maybe she's had ever. Like, she didn't look like a fool. She didn't look like a buffoon. We did get the fact that everyone's coupled up but her, and she couldn't understand why. That was a classic. So she left us with a nice little like, you think? No one wants to be my partner from last season. You think? Like, she gave us a good send-off, and then see ya.
God. Alex, anything on that?
I think my final thoughts on Anissa would just be kind of similar to what I said in the preview of like, at first, 2 seasons ago, it was kind of funny, like, oh, Anissa's back, like she sucks, blah, blah, blah. The challenge producers just have to stop bringing her back. It adds nothing to the show. And I think it really can all be summed down to, I think it was the boys over at No Quitters Pod kind of compared Anissa not only to an ice cream cake of Rihanna that melts in the sun, but the comparison that I liked actually better than that was, I think they compared Anissa to basically like that one aunt that you have in your family that's just like always around and like always just like talking, and like you feel bad like being mean to her, but like you always just want to say like, shut up, Anissa, like shut up. Nobody wants to hear you talk. Like, I don't like being mean to you, but just like get out of my face, like stop talking, get off the show. That's what I think Anissa is at this point. She's the aunt that you just don't want to be around. Just shut up, Anissa.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I could have said it any better. I mean, Jesus. So yeah, Anissa goes home, and then we go to Alex's favorite place, the club. And at the club, that's when we kind of saw, the volunteering kind of start. People saying, "Oh, I want to go in." I want to go in. We saw Logan saying it. We saw Gabo saying it. And then I think there was a classic scene of Devin. Who was it? Devin, CT, and who else was in there?
Kyle.
And Kyle just standing there, just being like, "How dumb are these people?" And then I think Kyle makes the comment of, I think he says something like, they're not going for a skull or anything. I mean, just a great one-liner there. Anything guys want to talk about the club scene? Alex?
I did just want to run kind of related to the club scene, which is the fact that so when CT won, my first thought was it almost hurts him in a weird way because like we've talked about, he's laying so low that now that he's in position of power, he's actually going to have to make a move. When in reality, fast forward 10 minutes of the episode, and the moves were fucking, like you said, being made for him. People were asking to go into elimination. So I thought it might kind of hurt CT's game of just laying low, but it did nothing of the sort because people were making their minds up for CT.
Massive, absolutely massive. And, the thing is, too, even in this game, winning right now, you're taking out rookies. And how dumb these rookies are. They're the fact that the rookies are going for rookies and not a vet makes no sense. Andy, what were you going to say?
Well, I totally agree with you there. And I think CT did a really good job in all of this. He kind of, again, lucked into it where this would have been a time where he could have potentially put a target on his back. But all he did was prove to all of the vets and everyone in the house that he can still win. That's the only thing that came from him, which was perfect. He just showed, if you think you're going to try to make a stab at me, you shouldn't. You should think twice. But I just had one thought on the club scene.
Oh, God.
I mean, we're back to the igloo at this point. We're back to the igloo. And I couldn't get over the fact that they had 3 or 4 separate confessionals about the club. And people were like, "Oh, yeah, everyone's going crazy. These rookies are here to have a good time, and everyone's getting rowdy, and Ed from the circle is showing these dance moves." They were trying to hype it up like it was this everyone getting super fucked up, and it just wasn't. Everything they were talking about in the confessionals, and they'd cut to the actual tape, and it was what are you talking about? This couldn't be farther from what's happening. So I thought that was funny just because it was their way of trying to hype up that, oh, everyone's getting wild.
It was very, what I think of it as is from Real Bros Simi Valley, for anybody if you've seen that, is "Oh, you see me knock that dude?" Oh, it was very similar to that, just hyping him up. And I thought it was a joke when I first saw it. But yeah, I mean, exactly like that. Alex, anything you want to touch about the good old club?
I mean, I think you guys covered it. We've seen that there's nobody at the club, so it's basically just another house for them to just drink in and dance with. And then, like you said, Kyle, when the vets were talking, Kyle had that good line about the skulls. And then that did kind of play into the deliberation, but also it looked like Big T and Logan had a classic bunk bed night vision scene themselves. So good for them.
Good for them. One golf clap. So then we got the deliberation, and I felt like this is where the episode kind of just made its course along. It was very, pretty straightforward. You basically had the two guys. It was basically just arguing who was going to get voted in, and then who was going to get thrown in. It could have gone any direction, and it would have been the exact same way. And then out of nowhere, Huey just comes out of nowhere and for no reason starts freaking out. And it's if I'm the house, I don't know why I don't just throw him in at this point. He's annoying almost. Austin in the chat writes, Huey is a Josh 2.0. And, I think that might be giving Josh a little too much credit. But yeah, he is annoying and stuff. Anything you guys want to talk about here?
No, I about the deliberation itself.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty straightforward. We kind of knew where it was going, and yeah, I mean,
the one thing that I was a little nervous about right out of the gate was CT came out guns hot in the deliberation. Like CT was talking a lot. And at first I was like, CT, don't do something where you're going to end up biting yourself in the ass. Like, don't put your foot in the mouth here. And then lo and behold, the rookies come in and steal the show, stick knives in everyone's back, and just like totally eliminate the chance of that happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly. At like this point of the episodes where it just kind of stayed the same. And I think like after the club scene, you could probably have guessed that Logan and Gabo are going to go into elimination. Maybe it's a 50-50 shot, but Logan's probably going to win, whatever you might think those two compared against each other. But that is what ended up happening. And I feel like they threw in the Huey thing and try to get a little bit of a spark. And then they threw in TJ's little ... to try to like get another spark. But like at that point, probably about 50 minutes into the episode, you could probably say pretty confidently, like, this is what I think is going to happen. Another thought that I had, and it's kind of ironic, the fact that you had in the deliberation, Huey and Gabo fighting, and then fast forward just a little bit, Logan picking Nani to be his partner. You basically had 3 male rookies fighting for Nani, and usually it's the other way around. Usually Nani is going after all of the male rookies. It was completely turned on its head there.
I don't want to keep talking, bashing, I guess, if you want to call it bashing, but this is what happens when we don't get a legit cast. People fighting over Nani, and I think there's, Tori has a kind of a target. Obviously, I don't know why people are going for Casey. Very surprised there. Makes no sense. You're in a good alliance with arguably some of our top 3 men, one of our bottom 30 guys.
Bottom one,
excuse me. So, I feel like you have a good person there, but these people are just so dumb, and they act like Nani's won so many challenges, and she's won 6 titles, right? Like, it just makes no sense to me.
They must not get the challenge in these other parts of the world, because there's no reason why Nani is the hot commodity. No reason.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, and they basically left the deliberation at like, it's going to be Logan and Gabo. Everybody's kind of assuming it's going to be a guys elimination only. And whoever the house doesn't vote, CT is just going to vote the other guy. And the house vote ended up being Logan. And then I think there was really nothing between that and actually the elimination, right?
Yeah, not really. I think we saw one little. Sorry, what was that?
Do we know what the elimination is called? Is it the killing floor?
The lair.
Is it?
Yes.
I thought that was the okay.
God, you're nuts. So then we go to the lair, and Logan's obviously already down there. And then obviously, like you said, the easy vote was to throw Gabo in. They throw Gabo in. And actually, before we even get to that point, what was up with the whole ... TJ thing? I think I'm going to vote a girl in, or I never said anything about that. And, obviously it never didn't happen, but it's like when he makes that stuff up, it's good once or twice a season. We're on episode 5, and I think it's happened 3 times. So that worries me a little bit. So yeah, the elimination itself. What do we think forward? Basically climbing up a rope. What?
Audio was a little choppy there.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, I have no idea why. I said, what did you guys think about the elimination? Very straightforward, climbing up the rope, looking at a puzzle, going back down, building up the puzzle.
Yeah. Thanks, Magic Jack. I would say it was maybe the worst elimination.
We lost him. All right, go ahead.
I didn't love the elimination by any means. I felt like it was just a classic one-on-one thing. I think it's always more interesting when you can see 2 people working together. I don't know. Like my thoughts on this elimination, I really don't have a lot because I thought it was just slightly below average. It was close, which made it better. Obviously, when you can combine, like, it kind of added like physical endurance and like strategy, like puzzle all in one, which I did like. It seemed tiring. Like, I feel like climbing a rope like that is the type of thing where, like, once you get gas, like, it's hard to like gain enough steam to like go back up there again. And it seemed like both of those guys did gas out and like were able to go back up again. So props to both of them. I thought it was okay. I think they kind of played it up a little more than they should have. Again, don't want to sound like I hated it, because I didn't, but I thought it was just middle of the road.
Yeah. Has there been a physical elimination this season?
The first one was kind of physical. The backpack one.
Yeah, I definitely count that as physical. Andy, what were you going to say before I kind of jumped in there?
So I really enjoyed what the elimination was, but I didn't like the elimination itself. And I think it was because it was Gabo and Logan. Like, this was just like an elimination that meant absolutely nothing, because it's two rookies who have literally a combined 0% chance to win the challenge. But if this elimination happens again, and we don't know if that's what this season's going to be yet or not, but if this elimination happened late in the season and it was like two vets going at it, I think it would be a really like exciting, entertaining elimination to watch, because it does combine a lot of different attributes that you have to win. So I didn't love the elimination itself, but I think if they did it again, it could be really good.
What would your guys' strategy be for this? Because I feel like it would be easier if you put all the puzzle pieces on the board first and then mixed it around. Because then you're literally looking at the board. So every time you go up, you're correct. You know what I'm saying? Or no?
But do you think that would confuse you too much? Like, looking at an entirely correct board, and then, at least from the start, looking at an entirely wrong board.
Well, what I would do, how many times do you think they climbed up?
Probably 6.
Yeah, 6, 7.
6. And was it 5 by 5?
Yeah.
That's how I would have done it. I would have put all the pieces up and worked, dude, 5 at a time, 5 at a time, 5 at a time, 5 at a time. You don't think so? You think you would get confused if you have the pieces on? I just feel like when you're doing it, if you're looking down at it, you can start to like, I'm moving that piece there, I'm moving this piece there, I'm moving this piece there. If it's all, scattered on the ground, it's not on the board, so it's kind of confusing. I don't know, just a thought.
Yeah, it was a thought.
God, watch it.
I did think strategy-wise, it was a smart move for them to, like, basically, let's say you're going to do 5 rows, like 1 row each time, try to do it in 5 turns, to basically go up, get the first row, go down, fill in the first row, and then before you get your second row, just like look down and like double check, what you had first. I think that was a good strategy. You could tell the people who were screaming it thought that was the smartest thing ever. Like, double check your work. I think Nani said double check probably 5 times. She was like, oh, he's double checking his work. Like, make sure you double check. Like, when you go up, like, double check before you do the next one, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was a good strategy. It just pissed me off how, like, smart they all thought they were being when they, like, said that.
Even Ashley screaming at Gabo, too, when he's, like, standing there. Check, 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 check. It's like, he knows he doesn't do it, right?
You can't overlook the fact that, like, I think the last time most people hear double check your work is probably in like 6th, 7th grade. And that's probably like the level of knowledge that all these people are working with. So they're like 6th grade, 7th grade teachers are like the Einsteins of the world, like world-renowned professors in their eyes. So if they tell everyone else to check their work, they're like, oh yeah, look at me over here. I got the brains.
Very true. So thank God we didn't have a to be continued EP. Uh-oh, we lost Andy there. We had we had the ending, and Logan picked up the dub over Gabo. Austin writes in the chat, Gabo had the pump. He wasn't getting tired climbing the rope. Wish it was physical though. Yeah, I thought he just, he was going a lot slower. I didn't think he was that tired compared. Logan was gassed. If he had to go up one more, I don't think he could have climbed up one more time. So like we said, Logan picked up the dub. Gabo sent home. Logan picks up Nani. So then we form Emmy and Huey as our new team, which is another rookie team, which means they'll be sent in next week. What do we think, Alex?
Emmy and Huey are the two, dead men walking now. I think kind of to Andy's point earlier on was this elimination was good. The episode was good as a whole, but just like kind of what I feel like didn't bump it up to that B+ A range was the fact that like you ended the episode with Gabo versus Logan, and no matter who wins or loses, it probably doesn't really make much of a difference. Like whoever won is probably going to be home pretty soon. Maybe we get another couple, bunk bed scenes with Big T and Logan now. Who knows? Like it doesn't really change the course of the season, like whatever happened here. So like in and of itself, like tonight was a good episode, but it just doesn't really change anything that the season has been building up to.
Absolutely. Andy, what do you think overall?
I mean, realistically, it all kind of shook out like how it probably like would have. Like the only thing that would have changed this is if one of the vets took a shot, and that just like, especially with CT and Power, that wasn't going to happen. Like the second CT won, it was like, all right, well, rookies are going in, someone's going to go home, and then there's going to be another rookie team that's going home next week. So preemptively, Emmy and Huey, it was good. What's TJ's line? Thanks for coming. Don't see it. Hope to see you never. Like, because I mean, dear God, if I saw Huey or that thing Emmy again, I'd be very upset. So Emmy and Huey played a good game. Sucks they're going home next week, but that's what happens. Welcome to the challenge.
Absolutely. So now let's hop into some segments tonight. Our first segment of tonight is the challenge back meter. We are officially bringing it back on board. And honestly, I don't think there's that much controversy with this tonight, but I would love to hear your guys'. Where would we rate it? If 100 is, I guess the top, what do we think? I personally think we're still in the 90s, if not pretty close to 100. I think the first 4 episodes spoke for itself. Really fucking good. A little, downslope tonight, but it was still a solid episode. So, I definitely think that 95, 100 range still, we're looking fine. It's not the panic button like a couple seasons ago.
Yeah. So when we say challenge back meter, because I think we bring it up maybe as a segment 2 or 3 times a season, just to kind of gauge where we're at as a whole for the state of the challenge franchise. And I think there have been times where we've said, like, on the challenge back meter, we're all the way at 0. The challenge, I think we've proclaimed the challenge to be dead, like literally dead a few times. On life support is, I think, another one that we've done before. But so when you say, Trev, when you say we're in the 90s, that seems, I don't want to, it seems a little high to me, because I just like, when I hear 90 on the challenge back meter, I feel like we're back with almost no questions asked. Like there's nothing to worry about. The rest of the season's going to be great. And so I would say the challenge back meter, I would say it's tipping into the green slightly. I think we still got to see how these next 4 or 5 episodes play out.
So what would the number be if I gave you out of 100, you gave me green?
I think, Trev, I would give it an A.
Oh, come on. I mean, we're definitely fine. We're definitely in the positive side, but there's a slow down.
So how do you think, because we always like to compare it to the most previous season. So how would you compare these 5 episodes and the trajectory that we're on to all of Double Agents?
I think we're on a great pace. I think we're probably on that 90, 85 to 100 range, right in there.
So
85
90,
and above.
85.
85 and above. 85 and above.
I think 85 is the right number. 85, and it's trending upward.
You think trending up?
Yeah, like towards 90.
Oh, I think it's going down.
What?
Wait a
The
minute.
challenge back meter?
Yeah.
I think after tonight's episode, it's got to be going down.
Well, yeah, I think going into this episode, I had it at like 95, and it's back to 85, but it's gonna go back. This was the heat check. This was the heat check that we needed. You hit a couple threes, and you're like, all right, I'm taking one from the logo, and then you airball. You need that to get yourself back in the game.
All right. I get what you're saying. Sounds good. All right. Next segment tonight, we got who's Devin's partner? I mean, I think his partner this week is Gabby Allen.
RIP.
Wait, no.
It's Tori, right?
I think we can. No, I think I think we confirmed in doing the same segment last week that Tori was only his partner last season.
And in second chances.
And in second chances in the bed. Devin's partner, I was going to say Emmy, but we just said that Emmy's now with Huey.
No idea.
I mean, I literally feel like Corey looking at that math puzzle.
9 times 3. Well, I think we might have to get back to you guys because we don't know Corey's partner. Or, I mean, Devin's partner. Hell, I don't know.
In the chat, tell us who's Corey or who's Devin's partner.
Is it Corey?
Amber? No.
Yes, it's Amber.
It
Last
might
episode.
be Amber.
Who chose him? It's Amber. It's Amber. There we go. Austin has been on top of it tonight for us. So, with that being said, now we know who is his partner. Now it's time for everybody's favorite segment of tonight. We got the good old MVP, LVP. You guys know what to do. Write in the chat the order.
So as the chat gives us the order, I'm going to ask you guys the same question that I asked last week at the same exact point of the episode. Who do we think is going to be the first vet to lose on elimination? Because we had Pig Roast go home tonight. It was by another injury. I think I said last week, I said Big T last week. I think I'm probably still leaning that way.
That's a safe bet.
What?
I said that's a safe bet.
All right. I think Ashley's going home first, and I'll stand by that.
Well, isn't it kind of like remarkable though that we're 5 episodes in, and like I mean the theme of the season obviously has been like vets, controlling everything, but like they literally haven't lost an elimination yet. That's crazy. Yeah. We're 5 episodes in. You have all the vets, Pig Roast broke her shoulder, ankle, tummy, whatever. And then Nam went home episode 1. People forget that. I think it's maybe Big T still, but we'll see. I mean, next week is episode 6. I don't really feel confident that a vet will go home next week. I feel like there's still some time left.
Absolutely. So MVP, LVP time. I think Mikey the Doctor. I mean, it looks like I'm stuck in the middle with the 2 votes that we have. So I think Mikey the Doctor was 1. So I think we give it to Andy with the first pick. Me second and Alex third. So with that being said, Andy, the floor is yours. Your MVP tonight is?
My MVP tonight is going to be CT. I'm very happy I got the first pick because that was like one of the only people who I could think of who was the MVP. I mean, was this 2021 CT or was this 2015 CT that we saw tonight? Like, the guy is just an ageless wonder. Like, this is what he does. He dominated the elimination. And then he played just an absolutely perfect political game. He got his hands dirty, not in the slightest. He had all the power throughout everything. And lo and behold, 2 rookies go in. He came in, he won, he got out. That's what he does. That's why there's no doubt in my mind that he's winning this challenge.
Yeah. Good pick. But not so fast, my friend. I think tonight's MVP is Logan. And let me go this route with you. Logan had Anissa as his partner at the start of it. Go by. He earned his stripes in an elimination. Got Nani, so he upgraded from Anissa to Nani. Not much of an upgrade, but it's still, I mean, come on. It's still a pretty big upgrade. And I think the most important piece, he can go back and hook up with Big T again. He's back with his girl. So I think that was a massive, upgrade for him. Huge dub. He's out. Because eventually he was going to be in that rookie pairing for an elimination. Now he's kind of out of it for now. So I think it was a very great day for Logan. So
yeah, I completely agree. I was going to say, Logan, anytime you can win an elimination and fuck in the same episode, you're good. That's an MVP performance. So I'm up for MVP now, back to back. My MVP is going to be a bit of an obscure pick. I was going to go with Logan. I'm going to go with another male rookie tonight. And it's kind of out of nowhere, maybe a better pick for Radar Watch. But my MVP of the night is going to be Jeremiah. Ooh. And the reason I'm going Jeremiah is because, like I said, he's a prime Radar Watch candidate all season. But basically, my reasoning is that around episode 1, episode 2, maybe even the pre-season episode, you got the sense that like Jeremiah is along for the ride. He's not going to make the final. He's not going to make it far at all. He's just like banking his money like episode by episode. And what tonight was him extending his stay for doing really nothing. Because you had the vets were joking about it. Like you had Gabo and Logan like volunteering themselves. Even Huey was like being loud and obnoxious. Like you had all of these other rookie guys making noise, and it just allowed Jeremiah to slide through another round. And like, again, it's not going to last a long time, but in his eyes, what he's trying to do is just stay around as long as he can. And tonight helped him do that. It probably increases his stay by like 15% or whatever. So I'm going MVP with Jeremiah.
All right. Literally, and I'm being literal here. Who the fuck is Jeremiah? There's not a Jeremiah on this season.
He's the one hooking up with Amber.
Who?
I need to see some sort of proof that there is a person named Jeremiah on this season, because I just ain't buying it.
Yeah, that's my MVP.
All right.
He had a
very... Are we not on Radar Watch? I mean, that would be a hell of a Radar Watch.
He had a great performance.
We'll get back to you on that. LVP tonight, Alex. Who you got?
LVP, pretty straightforward. I'm going Anissa. I'm going the pig roast. Hope to see you never. Arguably like I said before, with the ice cream cake and the aunt that you just want to shut up. Like I'll try to just. I won't go into her a little too much. Just like I pray to God. We're only in episode 5, so the season preview is still fresh on our minds. I pray to God. I pray to Mike the situation that next week or next season 38 preview, we're not fucking talking about Anissa. That's my only hope. If we are, I might just have to skip that segment, but I'm going LVP tonight. Anissa, she dislocated her shoulder. She was crying because she thought she was going to win this season in her 22nd try. I'm going Anissa LVP.
That pick really pisses me off. I had a feeling that was going to slide to me. I'm really upset because at this point, I don't think I've given Anissa LVP so far this season. So now I can't give it to her. And that's what pisses me off the most. So I might try to weasel it in there one of these next upcoming episodes.
Andy, I just wanted to be on record that I was gonna literally de-weight it up to you, so I was not gonna pick it.
Thank you.
I figured, give you some class and actually do that, but
Alliance
just your
strong.
picking. Absolutely. So my LVP tonight is not a person, but it's more of a thing, and I think I've given it for an MVP before, sort of a little. I think I gave in the past to be continued episodes as an MVP in the past, long time ago. But my LVP tonight is ... And I just think, the ... part of it with TJ is it's really good once or twice a year. Like I said, we have been on the season this season so far has been 5 episodes. We have had TJ's little ... 3 times already. It's not even. It's just like filler time. It's not even worth it anymore. It's like, oh, funny, you're so funny, TJ. We obviously know what you're gonna say, but basically, what I mean by the whole ... is, the dramatic pause. We go to commercial. And yeah, I just think the whole thing is a joke, and they need to stop doing it. And that's why that worries me. Episode 5, we've done it 3 times. Over under should be for that is 5.5 now, I think. But the funny thing is too, it's we don't even do the ... anymore. We used to say stuff like the University of Tennessee, but we don't even do anything like that and bring up stuff late or do anything about certain characters or anything like that. So that's my LVP tonight. ... So Andy, I know you're dying to say something, Chattanooga, so go ahead.
No, good pick, Trev. I think that this is just getting out of control with the ... So I thought that was a very good pick. Before I give my pick, I have to address something in the chat because there's no way I'm reading it right. Love by You writes, if CT can show up back in shape, Anissa can! ! What? I mean, please, can one of you guys tell me? I have to be reading that wrong. Love by You's not comparing Anissa to one of the best challenge competitors of all time. I can't. I have to be missing something, right?
No comment.
All right, that's just. I saw that and I was almost whoa. All right. I mean, I can't even fathom what another comparison for CT and Anissa would be. I can't. All right, my LVP for tonight.
Even when you don't give her an LVP, you still bring her in. Wait a minute. God.
So the difference, CT's a fucking winner and Anissa's a loser. I don't care if Anissa was in as good a shape as Cara Maria and CT looked like fucking Big Easy. CT's a winner, Anissa's a loser. That's just a matter of fact. And the fact that CT shows up in a body of like a 28-year-old and Anissa shows up in the body of like a 65-year-old, that's just more, that's on them. All right, I got to give my LVP because I'm still just, my mind's exploded right now. All right, my LVP, so I obviously was going to take Pig Roast, but I am still happy about my pick because I think it's a very good LVP pick. Mine's going to be Huey. Huey is a moron. Like, that guy is just an absolute idiot. Like, he's blowing up. Like, once he got paired with Nani early in the episode, one of the first things she said was just take it easy, don't blow up, don't cause any scenes. And what the fuck does he do? Blows up the first chance he gets. Like, he was just talking about being with Nani, who has a lot of experience on the show, when she's giving him advice, and he's just throwing it out the window. I mean, he's just an absolute moron. And now he didn't, think about the fact that the other person going into the elimination could have also taken his partner. Well, guess what? Now you got that thing that they call Emmy. Like, Huey, see ya. Your plane ticket's booked. You're probably flying coach. See ya. I mean, he's a moron. His timer isn't even ticking. It's like an egg timer, like a 1 minute timer. Like, buddy, you're done. You're done.
I mean, good pick. Good pick. I mean, Alex, what do you think? Are you a fan of Huey or no?
I mean, entertainment-wise, watching him on TV, yeah, just because he brings something to the table. But he's, like Andy said, he's an absolute idiot. He's played the game worse than you probably could have thought he could have played it. He's just an idiot, and I think this episode just kind of I think this episode as a whole kind of drove home the point of rookies wanting to side with a vet, or wanting to partner with a vet, I should say. Like, we kind of knew it early on, like, you know, the rookie teams are being targeted. But now that we're episode 5 and enough rookies have been trimmed off, that like the rookies don't have enough numbers, combined with the fact that they're just too stupid to work together. They're literally like just biding their time. They're saying, how can I get the next vet partner? Like, people were literally like we said, offering themselves in for the sake of being able to grab Nani, for the sake of being able to grab a veteran partner. That's all the game is coming down to now. So hopefully it's interesting, you know, in the next 4 or 5 episodes, that like when that can't be a case anymore. Yeah, Huey's an idiot, and it'll be, I mean, can we say right now, Huey and Emmy, I mean, at least one of them has to go home next week, right? If not both of them, just because they're the rookie team.
Well, they're probably going to be the house vote, and the house vote is paired up together. So that means their plane tickets are probably going to be right next to each other, which sucks for Emmy to sit next to Huey, and it also sucks for Huey to sit next to Emmy.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anything else on tonight's recap, boys?
I think we're good. My kind of last thought on the episode and the season as a whole would be like, I feel like we're getting to that middle of the season. You know, not much is going on. Like, it's very predictable. But I feel like this is an interesting situation where we have something that hopefully can change and hopefully give a spark to the middle of the episode or middle of the season, which is veterans going against each other. Like, so far, the first 5 episodes have been good, pretty good, like almost great. And they've been that way because we've had enough drama, but at the end of the day, it is always rookies going home. So once that can end, maybe the new storyline is the vets going against each other. And if that can hold us till the last third of the season, then I think the season as a whole is in a really fucking good spot.
Mm-hmm.
Could not agree more. I think, do we know how many episodes this is? Like 25?
35.
In all seriousness, do we know?
I haven't heard.
Oh, God. Well, if it's like anywhere in the 15 to 17 range, I think we're going to be perfect. Because if this is the end of the first third, pretty much to what you were just saying, if this ends the first chapter, that chapter was a very good chapter. And right now, it's going to be, once the vets start turning on each other, it's going to be a brand new, like, whole line of drama, backs getting stabbed, alliances formed, and then that final chapter is going to be who's going to end up making the final. So it's if it maps up like that, then it's going to be great. But if it's like 20 episodes, then I'm nervous.
I'm not nervous. So, yeah, with that being said, I guess thank you guys for listening to a brand new Stir the Pod podcast show. I've been your host, Trevor. You can follow us on Twitter at Stir the Pod. You can follow us also on Instagram now at Stir_the_pod. Love you guys. Shout out Duffy. Bye-bye.
Love you guys.